In this video related to traffic circles, we're having a look at lanes within a traffic circle and 2 points. Firstly, deciding and choosing a lane prior to even arriving at the traffic circle, and secondly, sticking to one's lane. So here we have an animation, and we're going to explain a few of the options as to how to choose the correct lane when negotiating a traffic circle. So here you can see the road markings, which are a little bit indistinct, and for that reason I've actually reproduced them just in this inset above. And if you're fortunate enough to have these road markings at a traffic circle, it makes it a lot easier to be able to decide. Let's have a look at the different options. We'll start with the outer lane first of all. So you can see this pertains to the vehicle in the outer lane, and what this is saying is that the vehicle in the outer lane can exit at the first exit or the second exit, but no exit after that. In other words, the vehicle in the outer lane can come and exit at the first exit or the second exit, but cannot continue to either the third or the fourth exit. The vehicle in the inside lane, and here we can see it's represented by the traffic circle. So the vehicle in the inside lane can exit at the second exit, not the first exit like the outer lane can, only second exit and then any other exit. So what if a vehicle in the inside lane wants to exit at the first exit? Well, what that vehicle would need to do is to go all the way around the traffic circle and then exit at what would have been the first exit. So if we can keep these guidelines in mind, it's going to make it a lot easier and safer within a traffic circle. So just to repeat, vehicle in the outside lane can exit at the first and second exit. Vehicle in the inside lane can exit at the second and any other exit after that. Let's have a look at an animation where we see that the drivers do exactly that. Here we go. So we see the paths not overlapping. So this is fairly foolproof, excepting for one scenario. Vehicle on the inside lane, as we said, can exit at the second and any other exit. The problem arises when we've got a vehicle in the outside lane here. So we said the outside lane can exit at the first or the second exit. So if we've got a vehicle in the inside lane exiting at the second exit, it means that it has to go in that direction, as we see is the case with the silver vehicle. But a vehicle waiting over here wanting to go to the second exit, their paths will intersect or overlap, and that's where a collision can occur. And that's why it's important, as we saw in the previous video on entering a traffic circle, it's important that for any vehicles within the traffic circle already, that they have right of way. Any vehicles wanting to enter the traffic circle have to wait or give way to vehicles already within the traffic circle. And if they do that, well, then there's not such a hazard in their paths actually intersecting. So just to repeat what we saw in the previous animation, we're just having a look at the separate options of each vehicle. So starting with the outer lane, vehicle in the outer lane, we said can exit at the first or the second exit. And that's what we see in this animation. Vehicle in the outer lane exiting at the first exit. Conversely, the vehicle in the inner lane, we said, can exit at the second or any other exit after that. So not the first exit. Inner lane, we see the vehicle now correctly taking the second exit. In this animation, what we're looking at is a vehicle sticking to its lane. So once a lane has been chosen, stick to that lane. If you're in the inner lane, it means you can't cross over into the outer lane. So that's what this animation is showing. Driver of the red vehicle tries to take the first exit, which, as we've established up until now, if you're in the inner lane, you're not allowed to take the first exit, and we can see the reason why. So aside from crossing over into the outer lane. Also, at no point in going to the second exit would one also want to cross over into the outer lane. One needs to stick to one's lane. That's what we're going to see now in this real life clip. So we have the camera in the outer lane, this red vehicle on the inner lane, and we see as they're exiting the second exit, the driver of this red vehicle tries to cross over into the outer lane and connects with the camera in the outer lane. Vice versa is just as true. So if you're in the outer lane, stick to your lane, don't cross over into the inner lane. So that's the point of this animation. Driver of the red vehicle now crossing into the inner lane and connects with the vehicle already in the inner lane. Real life clip once again to demonstrate this. Let's just go back a section. Yeah, we can see the road markings more distinctly as we saw in the inset. Camera's now in the inner lane. We've got a vehicle in the outer lane, and that vehicle tries to cross over into the inner lane. In this animation, what I want to highlight is that as far as it's possible, and it depends on you, try not to travel adjacent or alongside any other vehicle within an intersection. So not even having a part of your vehicle overlapping the adjacent vehicle, because then one obviates the possibility of there being a collision. So if you're ahead of the vehicle adjacent to you, keep an eye on that vehicle and try to maintain your speed so that you stay ahead of the vehicle that is behind you. So that vehicle is not allowed to catch up to you and draw alongside you. Now, that's not as easy to do as if it was the case that you were actually slightly behind the vehicle. So where possible, rather be behind another vehicle within an intersection, because it's easier to control the spacing between yourself and that other vehicle. If you're ahead of the vehicle, it's not as easy to do. But the point of this is not to be adjacent or alongside another vehicle. So where you can, try to make sure that that is the case. So yeah, we've got a real life clip just to demonstrate that point. So we see the camera actually speeds up alongside the truck, which is a very bad idea. You don't want to be alongside or adjacent to another vehicle, either going into an intersection, a traffic circle, or within the traffic circle itself, and especially so when it comes to a larger vehicle such as a truck or a bus. And the worst case scenario is when you're on the outer edge of such a large vehicle, because then you're more in the blind spot of that vehicle. So where the camera is positioned now relative to the truck, the camera is very likely in the blind spot of the truck driver. So that's the one problem when it comes to a larger vehicle. The other problem is the trajectory of such a larger vehicle. So I do have videos which cover the trajectory of a larger vehicle, and you'll come across those videos as you proceed throughout the course, because the trajectory of a larger vehicle tends to cut the corner of the curve that it's taking. In this case, the truck driver completely goes across the lane, cuts the camera off, and actually clips the edge of the camera's vehicle. The point of this animation is to show that even once we've successfully negotiated a traffic circle, it doesn't mean the danger is over, because it could still be that a driver that has passed the traffic circle realizes they've made a wrong move and tries to turn back against the flow of the traffic to get into the traffic circle again. And that's what we see in this animation. The driver of the rear vehicle realizes going in the wrong direction, tries to turn against the flow of the traffic back into the traffic circle. Real life clip to demonstrate that. So we've got the driver of this vehicle sees and realizes that he's taken the wrong direction, tries to correct that, cuts across the path of the camera in order to turn back into the traffic circle. The point here is We've got to be on our alert before arriving at a traffic circle. Have clearly in mind which path we're going to take. Keep an eye out within the traffic circle that we preferably not alongside or adjacent another vehicle. Stick to our path within the traffic circle and even exiting the traffic circle, and then be on the lookout for any other vehicles that have realized that they've taken the wrong direction and try to turn back into the traffic circle. Please like, subscribe, and get notified.